Hey, how you doing? I'm Pastor Jake from the Kingston NY. I hope you're doing well. I'm coming at you with a devotional based on last week's sermon, which was Jesus feeding the 5,000. I'm actually shooting this from Auburn, New York, which is about a half an hour outside of Syracuse, mid-state here, mid-lower state, Finger Lakes, somewhere. I'm not even quite sure, but I'm down here for a seminar, and I'm blessed for it. It's a wonderful time. I'll be here till Wednesday. So I wanted to make sure that we shoot some of these videos, get these out. I want to stay on track with getting these devotionals out based on the sermon. If you have not seen the sermon and you'd like to, I'll have a link in the description. So my question for this video is, are you too busy? That's the question. Are you too busy? Think over your life for a second and ask yourself, am I too busy? Because if we look at Jesus Christ and we look at his to-do list, he had an awful lot to accomplish in a very short amount of time to accomplish it. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that there is nothing on your to-do list, there is nothing on my to-do list that is more important than anything that was on Jesus Christ's to-do list. And yet, not only do we see him rest, and we see God rest in the beginning of creation. The seventh day he rested and he gave that Sabbath to us, but we see the compassion that he has on his disciples. Certainly we see the compassion he has on the crowd that is like sheep without a shepherd, but we see the compassion he has on the disciples. They just got back from this missionary journey. They've been hard at work, doing lots of wonderful things, good things, and they're reporting back to him. And he knows that they're tired and they're so busy they can't even eat. And this isn't good. And so Jesus says, come, let's go to a desolate place and rest. So here's the thing. If Jesus is telling his disciples to rest, if Jesus himself rested, and if God the Father rested on the seventh day, then I think you and I ought to look at that and look at our calendars and look at our weeks and work into that a time of rest. We're no good to anybody when we're strung out. Now, the books that I read say that you got to find a pace that is sustainable. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't been able to do that. My life typically ebbs and flows, and it bounces in and out of seasons. In some seasons, I am just full out busy. And then other seasons, it's a little easier for me to find those times of rest. But in both seasons, probably especially in those seasons that I am really, really busy, I need to carve out some time that week that I can rest. And not just rest, but if you notice, he says, let's go to a desolate place. Let's go away from it all. Now, if we can't physically get out of the city or go up into a cabin or something, we can do that by shutting these down, shutting down the media, shutting out the world in our very homes, in our living rooms, and even just inviting our family in so that we can just enjoy one another in the presence of God, that we're resting in God. Because here's the thing. When I'm going and going and going, I have this feeling, this lurking notion that it all is on my shoulders. That if I don't show up and if I don't, then it's not going to get done, and the whole universe is going to crumble. And that is just faulty, dangerous, prideful thinking. By resting, as difficult as it might be, resting in the Lord, it is putting faith in God, and also humbling me to realize that it doesn't all depend on me. It all depends on the Lord. And that was one of the reasons why God built in that Sabbath day, so that once a day, we stop plowing our field. We stop going to work. We stop making money. We stop getting things done. And it's this lesson that it is God that is driving everything. It isn't me. And there's this day that I can rest in him because he's gracious and he's compassionate. And he's built that in to our being, that we can rely on him. So a spiritual walk that doesn't have rest built into it is a lopsided spiritual walk. It is not sustainable and it is not good. And we live in a day where there's a lot of commands and a lot of demands, and we can get real busy really fast. So that is the call to this devotional. It's to ask yourself, if you're too busy, to look around and really to pull out your calendar right now and mark down some time right now that you're going to protect. You're not going to schedule anything in this time, whatever time it is that you pick, and to rest in the Lord. Whether you do that by yourself, just you and the Lord, or if you invite your family in on that, it's entirely up to you. But if your family's invited, listen, there is no talk of things that are stressful or things that need to get done. No, this is a time to just be in the Lord. If Jesus did it, if the God the Father did it, if Jesus commands it to his disciples, and it is true for you and me. This is something that we need to observe and work into our lives, as difficult as that might be. So maybe this is a word of encouragement for you, that if you're stressed out and you're going nonstop and you feel like just collapsing, there's a permission there to just collapse. Just collapse. Take a break. Spend a day knowing that he is God and he's got this. God bless.